For our growing furnitures and structures project, we were tasked with designing structural assembly connections, which are predominantly reliant on mild steel and timber sections. I've conducted some research into this. My initial thoughts when it came to researching joinery was wooden joinery. However, that alone would not be useful enough for this project. I then conducted research into metal joinery, where I found out mechanical fasteners such as nuts and bolts can be used to utilize the strength and the integrity of structures, as well as mechanical fasteners such as pulley systems made by wire. After looking at wood and metal joinery by themselves, I started looking at the two as a union. I found out that these two can create strong structures, with the wood creating the skeleton of the structure and the vital joints being made out of metal. However, drilling holes into planks of wood can create a weakness in the structure. This is a possible danger to the people using the structure. So I started conducting more research into joinery that doesn't use drilling holes. I found out using the characteristics of wood can create strength in your structure by creating more organic structures. After researching joinery, I started looking into inspirational structure design, where I found out a lot about utilizing the strengths of both wood and metal to create strong structures along with aesthetically pleasing designs. Whilst looking at these structure designs, I soon found out that triangles are the strongest shape, and I realized I can utilize this in creating structures. If I use triangles in my structures, this means I can create joinery connections that have certain angles to utilize the strength of a triangle. These structures will most likely be geodome shapes. After looking at inspirational structure design, I started looking at architecture and nature, seeing how nature uses its own joints and connections to create these structures. I started looking at how ants use one another to create a kind of ladder to reach something in a tree that is dangling. They utilize each limb of each ant's body and create connections between each ant to create a structure. I then started looking into spiders and how their bodies are built, seeing how their legs are connected to one another and how their legs are connected to their body. After this, I started looking at architecture and nature, seeing how caterpillars build their cocoons as well as spiders and how they build their webs. I looked at how the angles of a spider's web and a caterpillar's cocoon are crucial to the strength of the structure. I then looked at bees and how they create beautiful architecture. I started seeing how bees utilize triangles, squares and hexagon to create the structure of the interiors of their hives. After looking at architecture in nature, I then started looking at inspirational shapes in nature. This included lemons, grapefruits, along with even a fly's wing and a Venus flytrap's scales. I started seeing how each little line is connected in a fly's wing as well as in a leaf. I looked at how the structures of a bone reminded me of the lines in a grapefruit and a lemon, and how they are very similar and both create really strong structures. Thank you for listening to my short presentation. Please see my Behance for more in-depth research.